The sun hung low over the hidden leaf village, casting long shadows across the bustling streets as shinobi hurried about their duties. The air was thick with tension, a silent unease that had settled over Konoha like a storm cloud. Rumors had spread like wildfire. Naruto Uzumaki, the village's beloved hero, had gone rogue. Whispers spoke of a stolen scroll, a forbidden artifact sealed away by the fifth Hokage herself, Tsunade. No one knew why Naruto would betray the village, but the evidence was undeniable. The scroll was missing, and Naruto was nowhere to be found. Deep within the forest surrounding Konoha, Naruto stood atop a towering tree, his cerulean eyes burning with determination. The weight of the scroll strapped to his back felt heavier than any burden he'd carried before. I didn't have a choice, he muttered to himself, clenching his fists. The scroll contained secrets too dangerous to leave unguarded, secrets that could tear the village apart if they fell into the wrong hands. But the moment he took it, he became a traitor in the eyes of his comrades. A rustle in the foliage below snapped him from his thoughts. Kakashi Hatake emerged from the shadows, his lone visible eye sharp with disappointment. "Naruto," he said, his voice calm but firm. "Hand over the scroll. There's still time to explain yourself." Naruto shook his head, his jaw set. "I can't, Kakashi-sensei. Not until I'm sure it's safe," Kakashi sighed, pulling his forehead protector up to reveal his Sharingan. "Then I'll have to bring you in by force." Without hesitation, Naruto formed a series of hand seals. Shadow Clone Jutsu. A dozen identical copies of himself materialized in a puff of smoke, charging at Kakashi with kunai drawn. The copy ninja dodged effortlessly, his movements a blur as he weaved between the clones, dispatching them with precise strikes. But Naruto wasn't done. Wind style, Rasengan. The original Naruto lunged, his palm glowing with swirling chakra. Kakashi countered with a lightning-fast substitution, leaving a log in his place as the Rasengan obliterated it into splinters. Before Naruto could react, Kakashi appeared behind him, his hand gripping Naruto's wrist. "You've gotten stronger," Kakashi admitted, "but you're still not ready to take on the entire village." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "I'm not trying to fight Konoha. I'm trying to protect it." With a burst of chakra, he broke free, flipping backward to create distance. His breathing was heavy, but his resolve was unshaken. The sound of approaching footsteps signaled the arrival of more pursuers. Sakura, Haruno and Sai landed beside Kakashi, their expressions a mix of concern and resolve. "Naruto, what are you doing?" Sakura demanded, her fists clenched. "This isn't like you." Naruto's heart ached at the betrayal in her voice, but he couldn't back down. "I'm sorry, Sakura. But I can't let anyone stop me." Sai unsheathed his brush, ink swirling to life as he painted a pair of giant snakes that lunged at Naruto. The blonde ninja gritted his teeth, forming another Rasengan and slamming it into the first serpent, dispersing it into ink. The second snake coiled around his legs, but with a burst of Nine Tails chakra, Naruto shattered its grip, his aura flaring red. Sakura didn't waste the opening, she dashed forward, her fist glowing with chakra-enhanced strength. Cherry blossom impact. Naruto barely managed to cross his arms in defense as the punch connected, sending him skidding back through the dirt. His sleeves were torn, his arms throbbing from the force. "Damn, Sakura's gotten even stronger," he thought, wiping blood from his lip. But he couldn't afford to hold back. With a roar, he tapped deeper into the Nine Tails power, his whisker marks darkening as orange chakra enveloped him. Kakashi's Sharingan spun rapidly. "He's accessing the fox's chakra. Be careful." Sai nodded, summoning a flock of ink birds to harry Naruto from above while Sakura prepared another strike. Naruto's eyes gleamed with newfound intensity as he formed a larger, more volatile Rasengan, the Rasen Shuriken. The whirling sphere of wind chakra hummed dangerously in his palm. "I don't want to hurt you guys," he said, his voice strained. "But I won't let you stop me." With a swift motion, he hurled the Rasen Shuriken toward them. Kakashi's eyes widened. "Everyone, evade." The explosion of wind and chakra tore through the forest, uprooting trees and sending debris flying. When the dust settled, Naruto was gone, leaving only the echoes of his defiance behind. Kakashi lowered his forehead protector, his expression grim. "This is worse than I thought. If Naruto's willing to go this far, there's more to this scroll than we know." Sakura clenched her fists. "We have to find him before it's too late." The hunt for Naruto Uzumaki had only just begun, and the fate of Konoha hung in the balance. The air crackled with tension as Naruto Uzumaki stood amidst the ruins of Konoha's training grounds, his breath ragged but his resolve unshaken. Across from him, the rogue shinobi, clad in dark armor and wielding a stolen scroll, sneered, his chakra flaring like a storm. You're outmatched, brat, he taunted, unfurling the fifth's forbidden jutsu. The scroll's symbols glowed ominously, and Naruto's fists clenched. He couldn't let this guy unleash its power. With a burst of speed, Naruto lunged, kunai flashing. The rogue parried, countering with a sweeping kick that sent Naruto skidding back. But Naruto wasn't done. He formed a shadow clone, the duplicate darting left while he feinted right. The rogue smirked, seeing through the trick, until the clone exploded in a cloud of smoke, masking Naruto's true strike. His Rasengan hummed to life, slamming into the rogue's gut. The man gasped, stumbling, but twisted mid-fall, his own jutsu activating. Earth pillars erupted, forcing Naruto to flip backward, barely avoiding impalement. Nearby, Sakura Haruno squared off against the rogue's accomplice, a kunoichi with venom-laced senbone. Sakura's fists glowed with chakra-enhanced strength, her movements precise. She dodged a flurry of needles, her mind racing. Too fast for brute force. She feigned exhaustion, letting the kunoichi close in, then pivoted, her heel connecting with the woman's jaw. Bone cracked, but the enemy retaliated, whipping a chain around Sakura's arm. Sakura gritted her teeth, channeling chakra into her muscles. With a roar, she yanked, hurling the kunoichi into a tree. Meanwhile, Kakashi Hatake faced the group's leader, a former Anbu operative who knew his every move. Their battle was a blur of lightning and steel, each strike countered before it landed. Kakashi's Sharingan spun, predicting attacks, but the leader adapted, exploiting the briefest delays in his vision. "You're slowing down, copy ninja," the leader goaded, slashing Kakashi's shoulder. Blood sprayed, but Kakashi didn't flinch. Instead, he vanished, substituting with a log, only to erupt from the ground beneath the leader, Chidori screeching in his palm. The leader barely dodged, the lightning grazing his ribs. Back with Naruto, the rogue had regained his footing, his body now wreathed in the scroll's dark energy. His eyes glowed crimson as he unleashed a torrent of black flames. Naruto barely dodged, the heat searing his jacket. This isn't working, he realized. He needed more power. Closing his eyes, he reached deep, feeling Kurama's chakra surge within him. Orange energy erupted around him, his whisker marks darkening. The rogue's smirk faltered as Naruto moved, a golden blur. Their fists collided, the shockwave shattering the ground beneath them. Sakura, sensing Naruto's surge, knew she had to end her fight fast. Her opponent was weaving hand signs for a poison mist. No time. Sakura focused every ounce of chakra into her fist, the ground cracking under her feet. She leapt, her punch connecting with the kunoichi's chest. The impact sent the woman flying, her ribs collapsing. The mist dispersed harmlessly as she slumped, unconscious. Kakashi, breathing heavily, watched the leader stagger. The man was wounded but far from defeated. "You always did rely too much on that eye," the leader spat, forming a forbidden hand sign. The air itself seemed to tremble as a massive summoning circle appeared. A monstrous serpent, its scales glistening with venom, loomed over Kakashi. Damn it. Kakashi's mind raced. He couldn't beat this alone. Then, Naruto was there, his Rasengan spinning wildly. "Need a hand, sensei?" He grinned. Kakashi nodded, and together they charged. The serpent struck, fangs bared, but Naruto's clone hurled him upward, dodging. Kakashi's Chidori met the beast's skull, electricity coursing through it. The serpent writhed, collapsing, but the leader was already upon them, his blade aimed for Kakashi's heart. A kunai intercepted it, Sakura, her arm bleeding but her stance firm. "You're not touching him," she snarled. The leader recoiled, but Naruto was already behind him, a massive Rasen shuriken forming in his palm. "This ends now," Naruto roared, hurling it. The leader's eyes widened as the vortex engulfed him, shredding his defenses. The explosion lit up the battlefield, dust settling to reveal the rogue forces defeated. Naruto panted, his cloak fading. Sakura wiped sweat from her brow, and Kakashi gave a rare, proud smile. But as they turned to secure the scroll, a shadowy figure emerged from the wreckage, the true mastermind, his voice dripping with malice. "You've only delayed the inevitable." The ground trembled as an even greater threat awakened, setting the stage for the final, desperate clash. The air crackled with tension as Naruto and the rogue ninja clashed atop the Hokage monument. The village of Konoha sprawled beneath them like a wounded beast. The fifth Hokage's secret scroll pulsed ominously in the enemy's grip, its forbidden jutsu threatening to unravel the very fabric of the village. Naruto's breath came in ragged gasps, his body pushed to its limit, but his eyes burned with unyielding resolve. "I won't let you destroy what I've sworn to protect," he roared, charging forward with a Rasengan spiraling in his palm. The rogue ninja, a shadowy figure with a vendetta against the village, smirked and countered with a flurry of kunai laced with dark chakra. The battle was a blur of motion. Naruto's clones exploded into existence, swarming the enemy, only to be sliced apart by razor-sharp wind jutsu. The rogue ninja's movements were precise, his hatred fueling his strength, but Naruto fought with something deeper, the weight of every bond he'd forged in Konoha. Memories flashed through his mind, Irika's smile, Sasuke's rivalry, Sakura's determination, Tsunade's trust. Each one stoked the fire within him. With a desperate lunge, he feinted left, then twisted mid-air, driving his Rasengan into the rogue's chest. The impact sent shockwaves through the monument, stone crumbling beneath their feet. But the enemy wasn't finished. Coughing blood, he raised the scroll, his fingers weaving a final, catastrophic seal. "If I can't have Konoha, no one will," he snarled. The sky darkened as the forbidden jutsu activated, a vortex of chakra spiraling toward the village. Naruto's heart pounded, he had seconds to act. Drawing on every ounce of Kurama's power, he unleashed a massive Baijuu bomb, the two forces colliding in a cataclysmic explosion. The shockwave hurled him backward, his body slamming into the cliffside. Pain seared through him, but he forced his eyes open. The scroll was destroyed, its dark energy dissipating like smoke. Silence fell. The rogue ninja lay motionless, his vengeance unfulfilled. Naruto staggered to his feet, his vision swimming. Below, the villagers emerged from hiding, their faces alight with relief and awe. Tsunade arrived moments later, her expression a mix of pride and exhaustion. "You did it, Naruto," she murmured, placing a hand on his shoulder. He grinned weakly, but his smile faded as he surveyed the damage. The battle had taken its toll, not just on the village, but on him. This wasn't just another victory, it was a turning point. In the days that followed, Konoha began to rebuild, but the dynamics had shifted. Naruto's actions cemented his place as the village's unwavering protector, a beacon of hope in the aftermath of chaos. The rogue ninja's betrayal forced the elders to confront the fractures within their own ranks, sparking reforms to prevent future dissent. And as Naruto stood atop the monument once more, gazing at the sunrise, he felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He wasn't just a reckless kid anymore, he was a shinobi who had faced the darkness and emerged stronger. The battle had ended, but its echoes would shape the future. Konoha would never forget the day Naruto saved them, not just from an enemy, but from themselves. And as the wind carried the scent of blooming sakura through the village, Naruto knew, this was only the beginning.